Okay, so basically I'm tightening them up now. You need a 1/2 inch wrench, preferably 2 of them, to get this job done right. Got this socket, but I can't really get the socket up in there on it. You can see it's kind of, if you had a smaller socket, you could probably get up in there better. 2 wrenches like that, a 1/2 inch. I'm using an adjustable on the back right now. If I had another 1/2 inch wrench like that, it made the job a lot easier. But for the most part, I'm getting them on there. I'll have this side done here shortly. When you tighten it up, tighten this one up and this one first, the 2 outer ones, and then work your way around. I found that was the easiest way to keep the weather stripping in place. Once you put that on, because if you don't, you start trying to tighten up in the middle, it'll pop out on both sides. So that's the easiest way to get the weather stripping to stay in place. So you're going to need 2 1/2 inch wrenches or a 1/2 inch and an adjustable. I wouldn't try to put a socket on it unless you got a smaller one, and that's how you're going to go about getting them bolted on. I'm going to work on this and then work on the other side. Alright, so I'm still working on it. I had to stop for a few minutes, but I got back to it. So I just found another trick to it when you're installing. So once you start putting these in, they start lining up pretty easily. When you get up here, if you want to get these to line up best, so like I said, start with this one down here and get this one in. That's going to pull everything, pretty much get it in line to where you need to get the holes kind of lined up. Then put that one in on that side. Then once you get these 2 in place, come up here and put this one in. If you put that one in right there, which is the 3rd one from the right, get it in place, it'll pull these holes up to where they line up. It's hard to get them lined up because it still droops down a bit. Put that one in and the holes will pull up and line up. You can see the holes lined up perfect. Once I did that, they was kind of off over to the right a bit, but once I put that 3rd one in right there, it pulled everything up to where I could get everything lined up, and now I'm going to be able to put them all in. So I'm going to finish up this right here and then get back to it. Alright, so this side was a lot easier because I done it the way I said you should have done it, and I was able to get the 2 in a lot easier on this side. So this side's going a lot smoother than the other side was. Plus it was dark last night and I kept dropping the dang nuts on the ground. I couldn't hardly find them. So I got everything on here. Got the weather stripping cut. I'm gonna go ahead and get all the screws in place, and then I'm gonna set the weather stripping on this side and go from there. Okay, so I'm not even halfway done yet. If I would have thought this through and maybe not started so late, I would have probably been done with this. So the fronts are not too bad to try to get installed. I got one installed as of right now. It ain't tightened up yet. Some tips on when you're installing them. First off, that's where how the nuts and the bolts go in there. You'll want to start right here with this one, the very first one. It is pretty tough to get it in there, but once you get it started, the rest of them line up. I didn't, because it was tough for me to try to get that one in there because it's tight to get your hand back in there. So what I did was I didn't start with that one. I went ahead and put all of them in here, but I didn't tighten them up, thank God. And when I come back trying to get this one in here, it was the task to get it to line up. If you start with this one, all the rest of the holes, once you get that one in there, it'll pull everything back, and everything will line up. But you can see I haven't got them tightened up yet, but they're going to stay here. They're stout. They are pretty stout. Once they're on there, they're not going to go nowhere. I just got to tighten them all up. But I got this one pretty much on here. Got to tighten it up. Got to run this weather stripping back there around it. I'm going to have to take that off right here on mine because I got this on there. That was an old light mount where I had a light mounted at. I can't get the weather stripping behind it, so I'm going to have to take that off. I'm not going to try to do any more on it tonight. It got dark on me. And I got to run grab another nut because I ended up dropping a nut back down in here somewhere trying to put that on. I'm going to go ahead and pick up probably a bag of those, because I'm probably going to do it a couple more times on the other side. But the rears, I got this tool here to try to put the freaking put them pop nuts, them rivet nuts in here. The rears would go on. They lined up when I put them up here. You have to put a rivet nut here and here, and then in these 3 spots here, and then you just bolt everything on. These 2 you can get to, and you can get behind them, so them 2 just bolt on. And the other side's the same way. It's you can see, I'm gonna clean all this up for tomorrow before I go installing anything else on here. But same thing on this side, rivet nuts in the 3 holes, here, here, and here, there, and there, and they just bolt right on. I checked both sides, didn't have no fitment issues with it. So if you want to see and not get an idea of what compared to stock, I don't know if you probably can't see it, it's too dark out here. I'll get close with it. Here's my old stock fender right here, and you can see it's I put it up here, lay it right here on the tire, put it kind of where it would have probably been at. You can't see that. That's a general comparison, but you can't really see it. But like I said, it got dark on me out here, so they're a lot wider than what I thought they were, which is good because I didn't want no real skinny flares on here, and I didn't want them to be them real skinny type, and I didn't want them to be the type that come real skinny up here in the front. I wanted something that'll flare out on the sides, so I like these. I've scratched them a little bit. I'm gonna go get some bed liner and touch them up where I've scratched them. But other than that, I mean, they're styled. I like them. They're worth the money, rather than paying $800 or $900 for them for steel flares. They seem to be worth the money. I would recommend them. Pick these up on Amazon right now for around $500 for the front and the rears. Just got to search around on there and you can find the best deal on them. I think you can get the fronts for like $247, and maybe rears for $247, and the fronts for like $228. That's for a pair. And like I said, you got to figure out a way to set. I looked on a few videos. I'm probably just going to take it. I got a buddy who's going to set them for me tomorrow. I'm going to take them over to his shop, and he's going to set these rivet nuts back here. Man, I'm not that savvy of a person. People are probably thinking, man, you're just a retard. You should be able to do that. But if you don't have an idea before you get it, I'll show you. That's what I'm talking about. Video right here. So basically, you can't get to the back of this. Right here, the hole, you can't get back there. So these set into place like that. And you just punch them in there, and it's like a, it forms in there and it stays. And then you can put your screw in there and it holds it in place. There's a couple different methods that I looked at online on how to go about doing it. I had an epic fail on every one of them. I got the tool to do it, but it ended up being the wrong size. And I paid $25 for it, and since it's open, they won't take it back. So maybe I would find a use for that at some point. But if I don't, I don't. But that's pretty much how you go about installing them. It's a pretty simple process. Like if you had all the tools that you need to do, I would recommend having another person to help you out on holding the fenders in place while you bolt them on. But I guess if you had all the right tools to be able to do it with, you could probably do the install in, I'm gonna say, about an hour and a half to 2 hours. It would take you to do it. It wouldn't be a bad install. The rears would go on very, very easily. I stuck them up here. There didn't seem to be any fitment issues like some had said. The holes did line up on both sides, so you know, and the rears are just as wide as the stock rears, and the fronts are pretty close. I mean, they ain't exactly as wide, but that's the other one on this side right there. I know I got a crappy camera phone out here. But tomorrow I should have Mom. We'll get up in the morning, go let my buddy set them in place, and then I'll post some pictures up once I get everything done. Alright guys, so if you can't find anything to press these into place with, my buddy built me this little jig. I can get it into the camera. Looks like that. Pretty much you take the rivet nut, which is this, and you screw it onto the end. I'm gonna set the camera down for a second. You're gonna take it, you can build this at home. Screw it onto the end like that. And you're gonna stick it in there into the hole, and pretty much use a number 10 or whatever size you need, and you're just gonna hold this on the end like that while you turn this nut and crank down on it until it presses it in there. I'm sure they make tools to do this, but every tool I found wouldn't work. But anyway, I just pressed this one in. My buddy did one on the other side for me. I pressed that one in just now myself, had no problem doing it. So just for a little laugh, I called around places to get a price on what it would cost for someone to press 10 of these into place for me. $65. $65 to $80 for someone to do this. It would have probably took them, and these are guys who had machines that would do it, would have probably took them all of 10 minutes. They wanted $65 to $80 to do this. So this right here, even if you went and had to buy everything to do this with, this method would cost you less than $3. He gave me all this to do it with, other than I had the nut or the bolt already. He gave me that nut, so it worked. So if you're wondering how to press these in, this is the way to do it. So I'm gonna get back to putting these on. Hopefully I have everything installed in the next hour or so, and I'll be able to put together a video and show everybody exactly how to go about getting all this stuff put on.